Welcome everybody. This is a follow-up video to my previous video. Absolute scam, right? With Arrow Rover situation. I'm on my free-to-play account, as you can see, and I struggled, man. I struggled. I was a little upset, right? Because I didn't get to. I probably should have done more research, but I listened to a lot of content creators. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're gonna be fine." Right, just use Arrow Rover. You don't need Chacona. If you just pull for Fleur-de-Lis, you don't even need Cartithia's signature weapon, the Firestone. You could just use Camelia's weapon, which is called.
The power to I alone will decide when.
Well, she's using Emerald Genesis because I switched over to the Red Spring. So Red Spring is a really good one, right? EOG, Emerald of Genesis. People said use that. And just bring Arrow Rover, right, with the Blood Pack's Pledge, and make sure to, use Gus Awoken, which doesn't do nothing actually. You're supposed to actually put Arrow Rover in a Windward Pilgrimage. You're basically supposed to have double Windward, right? And you want to have some good energy regen on Rover so she can get off field, so you can go right into Cartithia, so you can get those stacks up to 6, right? With the outro over here, to get the max stacks of 6 Arrow Erosion instead of 3. And she's supposed to be like a support, and but she doesn't give nothing, right? And even if you do bring other characters like Shorekeeper to get increased attack, doesn't do nothing because she scales off HP. So I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, oh man, is this gonna be enough? And I tried it, and I tried it, and I tried. I did TOA. I don't know how many times I did TOA, but after bringing out the best strategy, I'm going to help you guys to find out what worked for me, and I'll explain why it works. All right, so if you're trying to get yourself 30 out of 30 in Tower Adversity with this rotation, and you pulled Cartithia and you have an Arrow Rover, most people have Camellia or maybe a dungeon or something like that. You're gonna want to use, of course, that on the left hand side, any Havoc, right? Because there's enemy Havoc res down. So that's what I did. I bring Camellia, I bring Sanwa, and I had Cantarella, so I did it that. On the right side, of course, is Spectral res down. So if you have Zani or Phoebe and Spectre Rover, you could do that. But if you use Rover there, you gotta be careful because you have to use Arrow Rover if you want to use Arrow Rover for the middle side. I use Zani and Phoebe by themselves, and I use a little bit of Camellia to bring it down because it costs less vigor. Over here on the middle side, I was able to use Arrow Rover on the first one, but on the second one, since there's 2 ads, right? Chop Chop, Nocturnus Knight, and Dragon of Dirge, Arrow Rover takes way too much field time, way too much. So what I found out here was, I was like, okay, I'm stacking up to get 6 stacks for Cartithia, but then Fleur-de-Lis procs some stacks, right? When you're in that second, so you have to go back to little baby Cartithia real quick to make sure it goes back to 6 stacks. You go back to Fleur-de-Lis, and then you ult, right? Resonance Liberation. I was just trying, and I'm like, this is crazy. It's just not good. It's not good. If I had a damage rover with more energy regen, which is a pretty thick build to do it that way, it's not great. So I'm like, wait a minute. I tried everything. I tried EOG. I'm trying Red Spring. I'm like, this is not working. I have Arrow Rover level 90 with her level 90 Blood Pledge, right? The arrow weapon to help arrow units. I bring in Shorekeeper for extra crit rate, crit damage, the buffs, so I can swap out faster, so Arrow Rover can swap into Cartithia. I tried, and just it was struggle. It probably took me like 2-3 hours, and I got it done. There was 2 things that I will say that some people might not be doing. You want to start with what I was doing, which worked for me, was I would instantly start with auto attacks to do the basic 4, basic 5 to make the middle sword. I would basically combo that into a heavy attack, and then resonance skill after that. And you get 3 swords that way. And then of course you can jump slam, which causes the lock of all 3 swords, so you can go into Cartithia and then get the buffs of the swords that way in Fleur-de-Lis form. Which I wasn't doing that all the time, so I noticed that was one key thing that helps out. And then I went to this second one. I'm like, wait a minute. If Rover is taking way too much field time, then why am I even using Arrow Rover, right? I don't need a Chakona. I don't need Arrow Rover. Why don't I just bring something else that still gives her a bonus, but also at the same time doesn't take so much time on the field so I can get more Arrow Erosion stacks, more DPS off Kartithia? That's where Sanwa comes into play. That's where the Shorekeeper comes into play. Because you can actually go Shorekeeper, right? Hold off that Concerto. You go into Sanwa, right? Then you go Sanwa, since she's so fast, if you have Overture on her, you literally just E, Alt, hold, cancel that into Heron into Kartithia, right? And it's like super fast, like 3 seconds, and you already switched 3 characters that fast. 2 characters, but like I was like, that is amazing. It was saving a lot of field time. I was able to just boom, boom, boom. I actually beat it with 25 extra seconds. I went from barely even reaching 3 minutes, like literally always hitting at 258, 259, 257. I was like, this is stressing me out. It would Arrow Rover every single time. I was like, no. And then I went Sanwa first time, and I had 25 seconds over. And you can stack Red Spring with Sanwa. And because Kartithia does so many basic attacks, right, in both forms, it's especially the second form, Flautelise, it's so easy. So basically, everyone has a free Sanwa, right? Everyone gets one for free, and everybody has Shorekeeper. Or if you don't, you can. I hope you pulled for her when her rerun came. But if let's say you don't have Shorekeeper, oh man, I guess you could still use Arrow Rover. I just wouldn't. You'd have to build a lot of energy regen, and you'd also have to make sure you hit all your attacks, because if you miss attacks with Arrow Rover, you don't build up a lot of Concerto either. So that's one thing as well. And since the character kind of like floats around a lot, even does weird attacks, enemies can be missed, right? Which makes it harder to swap. But that's what helped for me, and I was able to finally do it. Sanwa has Overture. Shorekeeper has Variation, right? That's what helps you to switch higher Concerto. And that's what allows you to easily get to Kartithia way faster that way. And I was like, wow. And look, so I'll show you my Kartithia build. You also have to have her at a certain stats as well. I thought, okay, cool, we'll have 95% crit with 240. That'll be fine. Nope, that was not fine. I had to go crit damage on the Reminiscence Flautelise, right? And as you can see, really good as well. And I had to bring Nightmare crit Kelpie with some crit damage, and even the substats are not even that great. There's no HP percentage, there's no energy regen, there's no crit rate. It's only crit damage, and it's not even that crazy of a roll either, and basic attack bonus. That alone would help a lot. It dropped her crit rate a lot, but her crit rate went over 300%, and even with only 38k, right, like HP scaling. If you want to look at the Forte, I did get the Forte to max. Every single Monday, I was like, right, I was trying to get her max out as fast as possible. I got everything to 10 except the outro, or sorry, the intro. Yeah, the intro. I mean, who's gonna get this to 10 unless you really have nothing else to level up? But all you need is 8 or 9, maybe even 7. But I want every little thing to help me out, right? To help me out, because I had 10 and I still couldn't do it. When I was fighting, when I was doing it with Arrow Rover, I had the exact same Forte masteries. I still couldn't do it. I was like, what is going on? I was like, this is nuts. Now I can see why free-to-play players are complaining, right? When Saint Tontus showed like, oh, it's not that hard if you just do it this, Chakona with this. No, it is, because I've been playing WoWa since day 1, and I have 3 Wuthering Waves accounts. And I know to do rotations. I've been playing this for a while. I am a really big spender, and I also have a free-to-play account, this one, right, that has not, like, literally has never even spent $1. And I've grinded for every single weapon, every single resonator. And sometimes I've unfortunately like lost like Jeji. I really wanted Jeji, and I lost my 50-50. And I was like, dang, it really hurt my Carlotta, but I still can get her done with, like, you know, Baiju and Sanwa, because they work together. They all work together, right? But this is the build that I got Kartithia to work in, using Red Spring. The echoes, if you want to see my 1-cost echoes, are pretty nuts. Like these last 2 ones were almost like close to God echoes. I was only missing 1 substat here. This one too, I actually consider this a God echo. It has HP flat and HP percentage. Even though it's not highlighted, she scales off HP. So I mean, what I could get basic attack there, right? But HP also gives you health, so if you're bad at dodging, I guess it depends. You know, if you want more damage, basic attack would be the best right there. But HP flat's not bad either, right? So, but that's that one. That's that one. My Devotee's Flesh. This one's pretty bad. I could have got way better, but and then I like this one. This one blew my mind. I got this like within the first 2 tries. I was like, what? I mean, the subset rolls are pretty bad, but bro, it has everything that's there, right? For free to play, you can't argue. You can't argue. That's pretty good. I'm probably gonna farm a better Kelpie, a way better Kelpie, so I can get crit rate, crit damage, basic attack, and energy regen. I would like to have more energy regen, right? Most of the time, you want to have 120 to 125 on most of your resonators. She's like almost there, and I'm starting to notice it's like I need a little bit more, right? So I'm gonna farm a better little Kelpie there. But if you want to see my rover, this is what rover had, right? The Blood Pack's Pledge, using Dust of Welkin, because that's what the community said to wear. No, you want to use the Windwear Pilgrimage as well, because unfortunately Air Erosion does not work. Air Rover cannot put Air Erosion. The only time you can put it is if there's another debuff like Havoc Bane, Fusion Burst, Glacial Chef, Electro Flare, and Spectral Frazzle, which we only have Spectral Frazzle and Air Erosion right now. Only bosses and other enemies have the other debuffs. So clearly all the new resonators so basically Air Rover gets better when the other characters come out in the game. But what if you can't pull those characters? You get screwed, right? As a free-to-play player. Now, of course, if you have Chakona, it's brain dead. My main account has the same type of Cartithia with no resonance chain, just a signature, her signature, right, to Firestorm. And Chakona has Static Mist. And on that account, I was beating enemies with my eyes literally closed, just swapping Air Rover into Chakona going into dance mode, singing, and then literally into Cartithia, and you literally can just close your eyes and everything dies. It is ridiculously. You don't need copies or resonance chain or nothing like that. And even my forte on my main account is only at 7 and 8, and I was still obliterating waves or bosses. I was like, this is crazy. It's so insane. It's more insane than Zani and Phoebe, because Zani and Phoebe, you have to look what you're doing. Like, you have to actually look. You know, if you get hit as Cartithia, it's fine. You're getting healed by Chakona. You're getting Air Erosion stacks. You don't have to worry. It's kind of nuts. It's kind of crazy. For all the people out there who have like Resonance Chain 6 Chakonas and Resonance 6 Cartithias, wow, you might never need to pull another Resonator ever. They're kind of insane. Now, is it a must? Is Chakona a must? No, it's not a must, but damn, does it make it a lot easier. At least with Spectral Rover and Phoebe, it works easier. When you have Spectral Rover and Zani, it works easier. But when you don't have the Chakona, I will say, Cartithia, man, bringing the Air Rover is kind of bait. It's kind of bait, man. And I hopefully in the future we get another Air Erosion character that can kind of fit Chakona's spot, or even the Rover spot, honestly. Because wow, that was kind of crazy. But there you go. That's for all the people out there free to play. If you're having some trouble, that's the way to do it. Hopefully that clears it up, and it actually clears pretty good overall. And I could get still better, like, DPS on my Cartithia, so I could have probably beat it in like 35 seconds instead. So, but I was still happy. I was still finally got. It was only for 50 Astrite. 50 Astrite, just so I can keep pulling single pulls. I've been pulling over 34. I'm probably at 40 now, trying to see if I can get this as a Firestorm on my main account, on this free-to-play account. It's been stressful, and I still haven't got one. So good luck to all you got, everybody who's pulling Cartithia, or trying to beat TOA. There's the clarity after all this. So unfortunately, the community didn't lie, but at the same time, there's a lot of misinformation. I think this help clears up and makes it a lot easier for people who are having trouble. This will help you out. I'll see you guys in the next one, probably when Lupa comes out, or if I create another, something else to talk about. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.